Hey folks, welcome to lesson 51. Amazingly, you have completed the first stage of this year-long journey in Lessons in Love. And so we'll begin with lesson 51 as we do with all our lessons by just gently closing our eyes down and arriving into our day so that we become fully present and we can embody these teachings. So I invite you just to take a moment. Gently close your eyes down. Perhaps drop your awareness into your heart. Smiling to your beautiful heart. And just connecting in with your breath. Having that knowing that each in-breath is taking you into the next moment of your life. And each out-breath is allowing you to release the old. Gently tuck our chins in and offer our prayer for the day. So we begin this day in gratitude and we open our hearts and we surrender to love. We ask love to lead the way through the minutes and the hours of this new day. We recognize that all encounters are wholesome and that all experiences can be met with a peaceful heart that is anchored in the truth that we are one, we are love, and we are free. And we release these words and so we let it be. So lesson 51 is the beginning of a review period. And we're going to be reviewing the 50 lessons that we just did. So there are several review periods throughout the year. And I think they're wonderful because they really allow us to reinforce what we have learned. Because if you think about it, we have been living one way up until now. And we're in this beautiful period of undoing. However, it warrants repeating. And so here's the introduction to our very first review. So beginning with today, we will have a series of review periods. Each of them will cover 5 of the ideas already presented, starting with the first and ending with the 50th. There will be a few short comments after each of the ideas, which you should consider in your review. In the practice periods, the exercises should be done as follows. Begin the day by reading the 5 ideas, which we will be doing, with the comments included. Thereafter, it is not necessary to follow any particular order in considering them, though each one should be practiced at least once. Devote 2 minutes or more to each practice period, thinking about the idea and the related comments after reading them over. Do this as often as possible during the day, and if any one of the 5 ideas appeals to you more than others, concentrate on that one. At the end of the day, however, be sure to review all of them once more. So what you could do is watch this video again at the end of the day, or if you have the textbook, you can read over them. It is not necessary to cover the comments that follow each idea, either literally or thoroughly in the practice periods. Try rather to emphasize the central point. Think about it as part of your review of the idea to which it relates. After you have read the idea and the related comments, the exercises should be done with your eyes closed and when you are alone in a quiet place, if possible. And we'll be doing this in a way in our meditation. This is emphasized for practice periods at your stage of learning. It will be necessary, however, that you learn to require no special settings in which to apply what you have learned. You will need your learning most in situations that appear to be upsetting rather than in those that already seem to be calm and quiet. And I love this because I often say to people, have your lessons in your pocket. It's like you have these tools now that you can bring about with you throughout your day to be used at any time that's necessary. The purpose of your learning is to enable you to bring the quiet with you and to heal distress and turmoil. This is not done by avoiding them and seeking a haven of isolation for yourself, because that's not the reality of the world that we live in. You will yet learn that peace is part of you and requires only that you be there to embrace any situation in which you are. And finally, you will learn that there is no limit to where you are and that your peace is everywhere as you are. You will note that for review purposes, some of the ideas are not given in quite their original form. Use them as they are given here. It is not necessary to return to the original statements nor to apply the ideas as was suggested in them. We are now emphasizing the relationships among the first 50 of the ideas we have covered and the cohesiveness of the thought system to which they are leading you. Okay, so here's our very first review. This is lesson 51. So I know this is quite wordy when we're reading it, but we will be taking them into practices. So what we might do is pause at the end of each one for 2 minutes just to rest into it. Nothing I see means anything. So this was your very first lesson. The reason this is so is that I see nothing and nothing has no meaning. So we're actually not really seeing anything. And so if we're not really seeing anything, it can have no meaning. It is necessary that I recognize this, that I may learn to see. So we're wanting to see with our inner vision, with our Christ vision, not with these two eyes. What I think I see now is taking the place of vision. So what we're seeing with our two eyes is blocking what we really need to see, which we will see with our Christ vision and only with our Christ vision. I must let it go by realizing it has no meaning so that vision may take its place. So we're just going to spend a moment or two being present to this and with this. Nothing I see means anything. You know, have I got a grasp of this? Have I some understanding of this? And don't be worried about anything, even if you're now saying, I still don't know what that means. We're all the time undoing and we're all the time building, you know? So let's just take a moment. Let's close our eyes down and just be present to this. Nothing I see presently with my two eyes, the way I'm used to looking, means anything. And now we'll gently come back. And, you know, as I close my eyes down there, you know, Spirit spoke to me and, you know, just said there's always more to know. There's always more to see. There's always more to be revealed. And I will never see it with the limitations of my two eyes. So being willing to look further and deeper and with that Christ vision allows us to see beyond and to get greater understanding and wisdom. And, you know, especially when we're looking on another or at a situation and we think we've got it, very often we don't. So our next review is, I have given what I see all the meaning that it has for me. I have judged everything I look upon, and it is this and only this I see. This is not vision. It is merely an illusion of reality because my judgments have been made quite apart from reality. I am willing to recognize the lack of validity in my judgments because I want to see. My judgments have hurt me, and I do not want to see according to them. So to date, we have given everything all the meaning that it has, and we have been judging things. And so now we're asked to recognize this. This is the first thing we're asked to recognize, is that I give everything. So everything that happens, everything we see, everything that has happened in the past, we have given it meaning. And it's the meaning that causes it to be a problem for us, really. In itself, things just happen, but we assign meaning to them. So we're just asked to recognize that our judgments have hurt us, and we don't want to see according to them anymore because it hasn't worked. Hence, we're sitting here, finding a new way of doing things. So we're just going to be present to this for a moment or two. I have given what I see all the meaning that it has for me. And when you're ready, gently coming back. And I'm smiling because we can have such simple examples of these things, like you send somebody a text message and they don't message back as soon as you might like, and suddenly you've created a whole lot of meaning around that. She never gets back to me. I always have to wait for answers. I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now, and we assign blame to the other person for not getting back to us straight away. And that's just a really simple example, but we do this all the time throughout the day. So we've just been asked to notice this and to own this. Okay. So 3, I do not understand anything I see. How could I understand what I see when I have judged it amiss? We don't know the full picture. We don't have the full story. What I see is the projection of my own errors of thought. I do not understand what I see because it is not understandable. There is no sense in trying to understand it, but there is every reason to let it go and make room for what can be seen and understood and loved. I can exchange what I see now for this merely by being willing to do so. Is not this a better choice than the one I made before? So really it's asking us to be curious, to not assign meaning, and to, really surrender, I suppose, any thoughts or ideas we have about anything, and just say, look, I don't understand it. I don't really know what's going on. And that's okay, because we're leaving space for real meaning to come in. So we're not going to assign anything. We're going to stay, it's almost staying in a sort of a free flow, an openness. That's what it is. It's a really beautiful openness. And it allows us to get a real interpretation of things, which comes from spirit, which comes from our divine selves, rather than our ego thought system. So again, we're literally just taking time to sit with this idea that I do not understand anything I see. Now, to the ego, that's like, really? Seriously? I get it. So, applying this and even entertaining the idea of this often seems challenging, but we're going to do it. That's all we're asked to do. It's sort of humbling ourselves, really, when we say, I do not understand anything I see. So the first 3, nothing I see means anything. I have given what I see all the meaning it has for me. I do not understand anything I see. Let's take a moment. Gently coming back. And I don't know about you, but I get a certain relief because, it's a lot of work making meaning out of things. And sometimes there's a sort of, relief or release in realizing I don't know everything and I don't have to know everything. So our fourth one that we're reviewing is these thoughts do not mean anything. So everything that I apply doesn't mean anything. The thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything because I am trying to think without God or without love. Okay, I'm sort of on my separate journey, doing my own thing, and God is not included in that. What I call my thoughts are not my real thoughts. My real thoughts are the thoughts I think with love or with God. So I consciously think with love. I am not aware of them because I have made my thoughts to take their place. So the thoughts that the ego mind is having, that 80,000 thoughts a day, are covering up your thoughts or your aligned thoughts with love. I am willing, this is all we need to do, I am willing to recognize that my thoughts do not mean anything. So it's a small my, small m. I am willing to recognize that they do not mean anything and to let them go. Okay, so let all that crazy mind stuff go and we're going to replace it. So I choose to have them be replaced by what they were intended to replace. My thoughts are meaningless, but all creation lies in the thoughts I think with love or with God. So I'm giving up any ideas of lack or of limitation. And those 80,000 thoughts we have a day are on a loop. And, I'm sure when you stop to observe them, you realize they don't mean anything. So these thoughts I have do not mean anything. They're a cover-up job for what's real. And only love is real. And so again, am I willing to recognize this, that these thoughts do not mean anything? So we're just going to take a pause. We're just going to be present to this. So we're not aware of our thoughts that we have with God because I have made my thoughts to take their place. So I've let all those 80,000 thoughts, that mind stuff, take the place of my real thoughts. My real thoughts happen with God or with love. So again, let's just drop into that. And when you're ready, gently coming back. And our final lesson today for review is I am never upset for the reason I think. And this is one of my favorite ones because, it really has us question and it really has us recognize as well that constant and consistent peace is available to us if we're willing to get curious and we're willing to look at things. So I am never upset for the reason I think because I'm constantly trying to justify my thoughts. Now, if you're anything like me, your thoughts pull you this way and that way and the other way, and there's nothing consistent about them except for the fact that they happen on a loop over and over. However, the thoughts you have of God are this constancy and consistency of love and of peace. So I'm constantly trying to make them true because I'm trying to justify what's happening in my mind because it's all I seem to know. I make all things my enemies so that my anger is justified and my attacks are warranted. So, I have reason to defend myself. I have reason to have armor on. I have 1,000 stories to explain why I should leave the home armored every day. I have 1,000 reasons why I should attack myself. So I make all things my enemies so that my anger is justified, my attacks are warranted. And I have not realized how much I have misused everything I see by assigning this role to it. So I don't realize the harm I'm doing to myself and to others. And, I don't realize how much I'm damaging my life. I could be living a really, really different life if I realize that I'm never upset for the reason I think. But I have done this to defend a thought system that has hurt me. That's the interesting thing. We're trying to defend this construct that we have built that has never really served us. We think it serves us, but now what we're doing is realizing that it doesn't actually serve us and that it's blocked out the love that we truly are. So I've done this to defend a thought system that has hurt me and that I no longer want. And I am willing to let it go. And again, that's why we're here. Because things have not worked the way we were doing them. We haven't found the peace we were looking for using the mind system that we've been using. So now we're unveiling and we're revealing the truth of who we are. We're, revealing our sinlessness, our innocence, our beauty, our truth. And so our final time in meditation is being present to this. So we're really upset because of our separation, our separation from the love that we are. And the only reason we're separate is because we give all our time and energy to a false belief system. So we're just going to be in the awareness of that for the next couple of moments. I'm never upset for the reason I think. There's nothing for me to defend. So just gently closing your eyes down for a moment or two. And when you're ready, bring your awareness back here to the screen. So once more, nothing I see means anything. I have given what I see all the meaning that it has for me. I do not understand anything I see, and these thoughts do not mean anything. I'm never upset for the reason I think. So relinquishing, letting go of old ways of seeing, old ways of thinking, old ways of doing. And I know that can feel a little bit sort of scary to the ego. However, I really invite you into this, and don't worry if you're not getting it all. We will be reviewing and covering, and these are all designed in a certain way. And so you will get it in time if you're not getting it now. So enjoy practicing it. Come back to the video if you need to later on today. And from my heart to yours, have a wonderful day.